Suzuki in, score!
The Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new season of the Curfew Boys, season 5. 5
years, guys.
5 years of doing this shit.
5 years of hearing Sam's bad takes.
5 years of still being friends with Joey. Ugh.
It's more than 5 years.
I know. I just said it's a 5th year now that I'm still adding that. Like, I don't know why I'm still friends with you, Joe.
We're over 20 years, man.
Over 20 years. My goodness. Hey, guys, what a time of year it is. Hockey is back in less than 24 hours. The Montreal Canadiens will be making their season debut against the hated Toronto Maple Leafs. God, I hate them, especially after this preseason. But before we get there, listen, to those that are joining or slowly joining, thank you so much for tuning in. The brand new season of the Curfew Boys podcast. Myself, Anthony, with Anthony, Zook,
hey now,
Joey,
myself, Anthony, with.
Wow, he just called himself Anthony. I feel honored.
Did that, Sammy.
Myself, Sammy.
Myself, Anthony.
Sorry.
Anthony.
I'm going to restart that. Myself, Sammy. Jesus, I'm going to throw up. Myself, Sammy, with Anthony, Zook, Joey, and my cousin Chris. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey now.
Hey now.
We're live on YouTube and we're live on Instagram. But Instagram followers, if you're watching this live, we will be shutting down Instagram soon. So you could just link us. Wow, I can't even speak. But follow us. Oh my God, I can't talk.
Just click on the link.
Click on the YouTube link. Come on YouTube and join the interaction on YouTube. We want to hear your comments and your opinions. But yeah, go ahead, Sammy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for that mess up as well, Anthony. You and I are off to a great start. You could follow us on YouTube.
It's episode 1, boys.
You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. If you're a diehard Habs fans like us and you know other Habs fans within your life or throughout your life, tell them about us, share our page to them. Absolutely free. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. I think we're still on TikTok. And you could also hear us audio format on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Boys.
Before we begin, Sam, can I ask the first question to
Sure.
everyone? Do you think the Montreal Canadiens will have a better start than you two did for this intro?
We hope it's the opposite.
I hope to God.
It's impossible that it's worse.
I hope to God they do. It can't get any worse than this. All right, Chris,
All
your
right.
mic.
Chris, you're not linked to the mic.
See, Chris
we're
is,
all screwing
part
up
of-
tonight.
Yeah, Zook, it's only me and you left.
We're setting the bar pretty
No,
low.
Chris, go on. You know what? Fuck this. Let's have
hear
fun.
me?
It's raw this episode.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's
Chris,
perfect.
Your mic is
Okay,
great.
so it's
Okay,
I touched.
let's-
I didn't even touch anything. I just had to
Okay.
look at the mic, and it just
There you
responded
go.
in fear, like Arbor Jack Eye.
I can't wait to talk about him actually because he's one of those players that I absolutely look forward to seeing where he could take his game to whatever that next level is as far as he goes. Because every player on this team, especially the young ones, they still have something to prove, right?
Mhm.
And Arbor Jacki is one of them in terms of what he could do on defense and what other role he provides for this team. And I think we all know what that role is, right? So before we get into all that, I think it's important that we first talk about the starting lineup of the Montreal Canadiens. And I think there's one player that none of us are surprised that made the team, and that is none other than Lane Hudson.
Can't wait to see
Okay,
it.
like there was, I don't even think there was a shadow of a doubt that Lane Hudson was not going to make the team this year. Like he played. What did he play? Like half at least, minimum half of the preseason games.
I think 2
To the
games.
best of my memory.
Just
I know he
about
two or three. 2 to 3.
I saw the ones he played, always involved, always electric.
Dude, like
Now,
But we said that last year when we first saw him play his first NHL game. Every time that guy has the puck, there's always action. There's always something happening with him. Plays are being created. That it's just, I honestly, it's electrifying, and I can't wait to see that tomorrow.
I agree with all that. My only concern with a player like Hudson, and this goes down to his style of play, can he sustain this for 82 games? That's the difference.
Okay.
Because yes,
That's a very
one
good question.
is exciting. Yes, he skates fast and skates backwards and sideways, but let's do that in 82 games
Okay,
against real
forward?
teams. Yeah,
Dude,
forward.
Hold on a sec. It's a very good concern because I don't have that concern for Lane Hudson, the longevity or the I can't think of the word, but the stamina, if you want to call it that, to last 82 games.
Mhm.
However, let's mention other players that made the starting lineup, or at least the starting roster. Emil Heineman, he made the team. Oliver Kapanen, who I think both Chris and Zook were very high on and surprised all of us. I'm happy for him. And Alex Barrett-Boulet, however you pronounce his name, I apologize. I'm very surprised he made the team.
He's
But
my
I
next
think-
ex.
Here's the thing.
Joey with the negativity early on in the season. He's mid-season form, folks. No, just kidding.
Exactly. I'm
I
never
want to
off.
say I want to say Joey's back, but the truth is he never left. So
Exactly.
So Zook and everybody, we can debate on this. I don't know if a player like Emil Heineman or even Barrett-Boulet has what it takes to be consistent enough to play 82 games in the NHL, or at least within the Montreal Canadiens team right now. That's just my personal opinion. Preseason, guys, they're fired up. They want to show the organization what they got. They're going to do everything they can to make the team. And they beat out guys like, listen, I really thought Joshua Roy was going to make this team, especially after the injuries of Raphael Harvey-Pinard. And then especially with the injury of Patrick Laine, I'm like, my God, all this kid has to do is just continue to push, or at least show some signs of push and desperation. I'll use for lack of a better term. Dude, I'm a bit surprised that Joshua Roy got cut, and it's not because of. You look at how he played. Yes, he only had one good game, like the game where he assisted to Josh Anderson's goal. But other than that, like, he hasn't really pushed. Pushed
Do you think
himself.
Boulet played better?
I think so. Yeah, and I think Heineman played
I do
better.
think.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I don't think it's we're gonna refer to him as ABB, and we're not doing any publicity for the company ABB.
Doesn't your brother work? Doesn't your brother work for them?
My brother used to work for the
used to work
better
for
part
them
of a
for sure.
decade, but
Yeah.
all that to say, I really like Barré-Boulet. I think pretty much was going to be with the Canadiens. I thought he was going to be maybe a reserve player. He was going to be one of the main scratches.
Mhm.
But I think we're looking too soon to Barré-Boulet, because I think the real X factor in camp was Heineman. Like, Heineman was finishing some outstanding checks. He was really, really, really good again all around on the forecheck. He created all sorts of offense. I think he played a lot more of an NHL game than Joshua Roy. So Josh, go shake the rust off in the minors. I love him.
But
have
yeah,
him on
yeah.
the top 10
But you know
list.
what? After how many training camps has Joshua Roy been playing? 3. This is his 3rd season.
This is a
I think it's
second.
second or third.
Second.
Maximum.
Well, it's his third, but it's the second of his entry level contract. I believe.
Okay, so total 3, but,
but
2.
2 training camps only, not 3.
Correct.
Well, he had
Year 1, when I saw him at the Blue versus Reds
very-
game.
that's it. The very first one, he still had that 1 year left in junior with Sherbrooke Phoenix, and then last year was his first official pro training camp. This year, if you want to talk about pro terms as far as his contract goes, this year's his second.
Okay, so that being said, my point I'm trying to make is that him being sent out might be a wake up call for him, right? Like 2
Did you hear
years
what he
in.
said? Did you see what he said?
No, I did not.
So he says, yeah, it was he has a good attitude though, Anthony. And he said in French that it was a very tough pill to swallow. And he said this, he said he felt that yesterday. These comments he said were today on Tuesday. He goes, but today's a new day, and I'm honestly here to work hard both on and off the ice because I want to make it back.
And I think that's what they need. Who did they send down last year for that wake up? Sarkowski, when he went down, came back stronger and better.
not Sapkowski. It was Armia.
Armia, sorry. Armia, when he
They
was
also
sent
sent
down.
down Caulfield, right, as well.
Caulfield was sent down 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Years
yeah,
ago.
that
Came
was
back better than stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that injury that caught, like when he got injured, because he was projected to hit that 30 goals that year, right? Even more.
he was. I think it was
that injury in January.
26. Yeah,
26 goals in January. He still had 4 months left of hockey. But that being said, I think Joshua Roy being sent down and having that attitude after 2 years. It's not like his first year and he gets sent down. After 2 years, I think it's going to be a good wake-up call for him, and he'll come back strong. Mark my words, mid-season or even earlier if there's another injury. We're prone to that this year, or every year.
Oh my god!
But even in my top 10 prospect list there that we were doing the show of there with Sam and Chris, my main complaint about that kid is I'm not saying he has really high talent, high skill level. His only downside, and the reason why most teams skipping him on 4 rounds, he was drafted the 5th round. It's that exactly what we just saw. His complacency. He was scoring a lot of points in the queue. He had 100 and something points. Yeah. Why didn't he get drafted in the first 2 rounds?
Well, that was after.
Reason. It's for this
that was
reason.
after his draft. But like he had a bit of like the
he coasts
the lazy. He had a bit of a lazy attitude, and then he worked on it. But I think. But look, I think it could be a thing where like maybe it could be. I'm not saying we know what it's like to be in his head and not in his shoes, but in his skates. Like maybe he thought, okay, this might be a little bit easier for me, maybe, or maybe he didn't. And maybe
a lot harder last camp, Sam.
He did.
But exactly. So I think it's possible that he took it for
granted. He came in too confident. He came in too confident.
Maybe it could be. It's possible.
But I don't think it's that, guys. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's not that he played badly, and I also think across the board, across all of us, we're ready to say like, we're not worried about Joshua. He'll pan out. He'll be back. No. It's more a question of Heineman got what he deserved. He outplayed.
But
he just played better. It's not
Chris,
a question of
Joshua
Roy was terrible. It was just Heineman was better, and he deserves that. I'm very, very happy. 2 years back to back. There's somewhat of a surprise at the end of the camp. And when it comes time to forming the final team and getting the lineup, Heineman deserves to be there. And I'm happy that Marty and the rest of the coaching staff identified that. And honestly, wishing the best of luck for Heineman, whether it goes back full circle, whether he's going to be here for the whole season, who knows? But he definitely deserves to be here for
Chris, it's not Heineman. I obviously I think he deserves a spot. I think everybody who's been there probably deserves it. Maybe my surprise, and I listened to you guys when you did the top 10. I couldn't be there. I'm talking more about ABB more than Heineman was in a class of his own, in terms of competing for camp. And then Kapanen, I wasn't surprised it was as high, but for me, it's ABB was the surprise. The surprise was ABB over Joshua Roy.
I agree. I thought ABB was going to get sent down, and I think he's going to have to pass through waivers if he does. But I
was even more surprised he's on the second power play unit. Sorry,
we're gonna get there.
But
no. That's okay, Joel. Look, for once, I might back you up on this one. We're gonna get to the line. Well, hold on. We're gonna get to the lines and all that. Look, to all those that are listening, thanks for commenting. Like we got quite a bunch, but I love what Curtis wrote within the comments. He goes, "I've watched Kapanen at Kalpa the last 2 years. No doubt in my mind, he was ready, hoping he gets a chance early on here.
I think he'll do well."
Dude, I like the kid did not look out of place.
No, he's had a strong last year, like a whole year from now till back. Like you saw him even where was it at the juniors, or was it at the World Hockey Championship? He was insane, dude. Oh,
dude,
nice.
He was their best. Like
dude, his skating is
like their best 2-way forward to the best of my memory that I remember. Yeah, and dude, I and some people were like, how is that Logan Mailloux got cut? I just think Logan Mailloux got cut just because of the defense situation we have. I don't think it has. No, it's not. It's not a surprise. I just think look, not even Adam Engstrom made the team, and a lot of people were there wondering like, well, Does Jaden Struble get sent down because he doesn't have to clear waivers unlike Justin Barrett's? Like, guys, Jaden Struble was a fucking rock He was a rock, and the way he hit Riley Gregg down, like center ice hit, like when you saw that hit, when we all saw that hit, we knew that Jaden Struble was making the team. And too bad he's injured and he's not playing. He's not going to be playing at the season opener. Marty's not too concerned. I know right away, injury bug. We're all freaking panicking because that's what we've been getting for Montreal for the past 2-3 seasons. But Jaden Struble, you could tell that like this guy's NHL not just ready, like he's ready to stay in the NHL. I think he's a guy that could play 82 seasons. I don't think he will, given
82 seasons.
Sorry, not 82 seasons. I did say
that's an old man.
Season, that's the fountain of youth. He found it. He's not sharing the secret. Yeah, 82 games. I just don't think he will play 82 games or 82 seasons, Joey. Simply because the surplus of defensemen, they're gonna have to rotate, right?
But who does, anyways, right? Like not many play 82 games. It's hard.
Well, I think Mike Matheson's gonna have to. Caden Gooley's gonna have to stay healthy and play that. David Savard.
But they don't. We know it. They're not.
Well, we don't know yet for sure.
Sam, it's inevitable. They're not going to play 82. The most you'll get is Nick Suzuki, most likely.
I think the top line. I'm not worried about the top line not playing 82 games together.
Caulfield, I would be worried.
Please do not jinx this, please.
I'm just saying, I'm knocking on wood.
Look, Suzuki's the Iron Man to me. Everybody else, it's as, how can I say it? It's as any chance that someone. The only one is Suzuki because like the guy
will kill you, Joey, if Suzuki gets injured. At least
even during COVID, the guy looked like he was.
This recording will be used against you. I swear to God.
Look, even during COVID, the highest chance of a guy missing because they got sick from COVID, the guy looked like he was in a bubble. He never caught anything, never got sick, nothing. The guy was always there. He's the only one that's shown that can be there for 82 games. The rest, I'm sorry. There's always something that happens to them, or they rotate out.
Just to jump into some of the comments here, there's a few talking about the goalie situation. Do you want to jump into that right now?
Well, I mean, yeah, I saw Dobish. Lots of comments about Dobish. Rafik says Dobish had a great camp. Sad to see him go. Bin says Dobish will be called up. Tara Kane said, I really enjoyed watching Dobish play. Yeah, like
I think he had a better camp than Primo.
But you know what?
Who didn't?
On that subject, for Dobish.
Wow.
Yeah. I am seriously happy. I am seriously happy that he's going to be down in the minors and that he's going to be playing all these games because fans, what you have to realize is that it is going to be super important for these young guys to get playoff experience. And please let Dobish carry this team as far as possible. Let him play a stellar game down in the minors. Let's not have a 3-goalie situation again. If somebody gets injured, sure. Yeah, we can see Dobish. It's a possibility. Knock on wood and hope for the best that there's no goalie injuries. We need him down there. We need him performing like he did in training camp and let the young guys go as far as possible in the postseason, not the offseason.
You know who I think is happy to have Joshua Roy-Laval? I think Sean Farrell is happy to have Joshua Roy-Laval because the two of them were killing it at one point. The two of them led the league in terms of rookie duos points in the minors before Roy got called up, or actually before I think Farrell got injured. One or the other happened. But look, man, that's just the way it is. And the famous Marty-ism words, you got to earn your seat, you got to earn your chair, or so.
So is this make or break for Primo? Is this like?
No, I know okay. The final year, I'm saying this, the final year of his contract, and knowing that Jacob Fowler is coming at the end of this season, this is going to be his last NCAA season. I'm telling you all now, yes.
He's a goner.
Yeah, I think Caden Primo knows. He's not stupid. Like, these guys know. I'm telling you.
Okay. But that being said, I want him to have a very good season where we can add a lot of value to this guy because we didn't get rid of him last year when we had the 3-goalie situation. They were scared to put him on waivers because they didn't want to get picked up for nothing. And I think he brought in a lot of value last year. A lot of teams are looking at him now. And I think this, like you said, Joey, this is a make it or break it season for him. We think he will be gone by end of the season, but I'm hoping that he gets enough games in.
We can't give that intention because we can give that intention of Like they can't say, well, Fowler's coming. Like they can't like kind of show their hand that they want to get rid of him, because then that will just lower his value.
No, for sure. I'm not saying to do that, but all I'm asking is for Primo to really. I want the organization to give him enough games. I don't want Monty.
I would have
How
done
many
it
games?
last year.
So
I
How
would
many,
have.
how many games though?
I'm not saying half.
so-
I had this conversation today with someone. If they're
50,
going to
30?
split it, I think 50. If
50
you
to
are
30.
planning on trading this guy and he's playing well, I would give him more than 30%.
But
I
then
was
Yeah,
everybody
just
how about
about to
30
say,
games,
Are you guys? Are you guys ready to split the net like Allmark and Swayman did in Boston? Maybe I think
Montembeault plays a
Monty
bit more.
deserves a little bit more, but if
Yeah.
it goes something like 36 versus 46, for example, I'm very comfortable with that split. I want
Yeah.
to give both goalies the absolute possibility to shine and stand out. I still think Monty stands a little bit ahead, but if one of them starts to stick out more than the other, line them up, put them in
Look,
the window for
And
some
Chris,
shots.
if you're
yeah.
giving Primo 36 games, we're gonna get to season predictions. You think that's a good amount that can get you into playoffs? 36 games.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't. It's all going to depend. Again, as I said, let's go back to play the hot hand. But Monty never proved that he's ready to handle. Remember when Carey Price played 70, 72 games in a season? Like Monty
For
will
sure.
never, no other goalie's ever going to be
No,
like
but
that.
NHL teams aren't really going that route anymore. Like
No, they're not.
They're not doing like Marty Brodeur that played 80 games out of 81.
But,
82.
No,
but
they're
exactly
not.
that. I would say it's an even split. Give the guys a chance to stand out in the first 15, 20 games. Give it that even 50-50 split as much as possible. And then if one of the guys stands out, let them run with it. Run with the hot hand for as long as you can go and give yourself the best possible chance to get into the playoffs.
You know what? Something just kind of like hit me, and I don't think if hypothetically speaking, if the Canadiens were to trade Caden Primo, I don't think it's going to be before the end of the season, like at the deadline. I think they're going to wait and see what they. I think they're going to re-sign him because he still becomes an RFA, I believe. I think they'll sign him for another year or two, but they're also going to sign Fowler, and I think they're going to try to make it competition between those two. I personally think now. I just suddenly realized, unless Kent Hughes is like, you know what, Fowler is good enough to go NHL, but let him be a backup for maybe a season and see. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I'm just shooting the shit. I just don't think, because if you trade Primo by the deadline, again, hypothetically speaking, you call up Dobesh, and are you comfortable leaving Laval without Dobesh? And like if they're fighting for a playoff, like should the Canadiens really do that to Laval? And I get it's like,
No.
at the end of the day, you can't really worry about Laval, but like you also.
But
No, you have to manage both.
it also depends on how our season's going too, right? Like if we're doing well and we're in playoff position or wild card, like hopes of wild card, I wouldn't even want to trade Primo right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we'll see what happens come trade deadline. Where are we at in this position? Like, look, look at last year. We were not even, we were close to making playoffs, but we are still far. It was in episode 6 of the rebuild.
Where were we close?
Sorry?
Where
they're
were
like-
we
they were-
close?
We were
They were
6 points behind.
like
5-6
points like
behind.
in like November, December, I believe.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
after they
Fair.
traded Monahan, and that was a sign to the league saying, okay, we're not going to fight for wild card. We're just quote unquote giving up here. And maybe that's, again, similar situation this year with Primo. If we're at that point where there's no hope for a wild card or playoffs, then let's get rid of our backup goalie. Let's quote unquote tank it and put Dobesh up or Fowler or whoever.
Suzuki's
And-
gonna get upset, eh? Suzuki doesn't want that anymore, and he said that publicly. He's like, I don't want to make trades to the point of like, because he doesn't want to be sellers at the deadline.
Yeah, but we got to be in a playoff spot, Sam. Like,
Yeah, I get it, but like,
I don't agree with those comments. I'm sorry.
doesn't-
I know
he
he set
doesn't-
up, but
he doesn't want the team to be in that position where management has to sell.
well, captain, step it up, buddy. Tell your other 23 guys to fucking win games. I mean, instead of speaking, just do it.
Hey, Suzuki's not just all talk. The guy
No,
walks the walk too.
I like
And I can't wait to talk about them. No, for sure. I know,
There's
Joey.
nothing. Look, I'll end it on it. I think with the Primo situation, there's so many different opinions on what to do with him. I really, really, really think they should have just not got rid, but trade him last year while his value is still a little higher. It would have been a lot easier to deal with Allen as your backup this year. But hey ho, this is the situation we're in, and
But you know what, Joey?
Make Joey an assistant coach on Marty's staff.
No,
we'll talk about Marty. Whoever said that, we will talk about Marty because it's coming up.
Rafik said that.
Coming on Marty too.
Just to end it with the Primo talk, Joey, you're right. I mean, he had some value last year because he really picked, not fully right. Let me rephrase that. But I think, again, this is speculation and having high hopes in him. After seeing what we saw last year, I think we will get more value out of Primo this season than last season if he continues to climb that ladder from what he's been showing us last year.
I think he
but
can.
He has to take games from it's a very
it's
peculiar situation. Yeah, it's how many games is he going to take for Montembeault? If something like
question is Monty playing back to back, or is Primo playing against Boston?
We don't know. We
No,
don't know.
but
okay, half the philosophy. It's going to be Primo.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Primo gets the start on Thursday.
But if
if Monty plays back to back, that's a sign that they're gonna focus on having
it's so early too.
Yeah,
though,
it's
right?
early. I wouldn't judge the first back to back. But like Chris said, Anthony, or you said, if you're giving him like something like 30 games, I don't know how much of his value you're really going to get out of 30 games. To me, you have to give him more. 40.
But I want to give him more than no. But when Sammy asked me before 70-30, I said give him more than 30. 30%. Again, depending on how he plays and where we're at in the standings.
But the better we are in the standings, to me, the less he will play.
The less he will play. Yeah.
Unless Primo's the one making us win, then maybe Monty is the fucking backup.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen.
I know I'm speculating too much
here.
Guys, it's speculating, but that's an intimidating game for Primo to go into Boston and play this.
He could be all right.
It is what it is. He's got to face the music. He's an NHL goalie, but
exactly. It's like,
Chris, I mean, if he's gonna be this goalie that wants to get to the next level, you gotta start playing him in these situations. You can't throw him in the 2 games. Yeah. Well,
no, it's you guys bring up all great points, and like I kind of want to put a close on like the guys in the minors and who could get called up and such. But Thurston asks a great question: which players do you guys think will get called up from Laval? Personally,
Roy for sure.
Roy for sure,
oh, yeah.
And Roy for sure is going to get called up amongst the forwards. And if a defenseman gets hurt, I really think it's going to be Mayu.
Anybody besides Roy, Sam? Like after Roy?
It depends if they need.
Is it Beck?
This is a good.
I could see
potentially
amongst the forwards. I could see Owen Beck get called up if a centerman's injured. Maybe a centerman like Dvorak or Kapanen,
Evans
or Evans. Yeah, I could see Beck. But right now, or Gignac, and again, it depends how they play, and I'm not going to get into the speculations about them.
No.
They're all young, right? But like, if Roy has the start of a Laval season like he had last year, yes, he's going to be the first call up. And I personally believe Logan Mailloux is the automatic call up on defense if there's an injury, especially with Reinbacher being out now for 4 to 6 months, which pisses me the fuck off because I wanted to see this kid in Laval play top line pairing minutes on the power play.
It's a wasted year.
It's fucking
development.
It sucks. It sucks. But I mean, he's still young. He's only 19 years old. I mean, there's other defensemen out there. I remember reading. I can't remember names. Like they got injured, but like Aaron Ekblad had a history of injuries. First overall pick. I get it. There's a difference. I think Alex Pietrangelo too had a bit of an injury history when he first started in the NHL. Look what he turned out to be. Which, by the way, even Pierre Maguire said this. He goes, Alex. I've always said Reinbacher could be that Alex Pietrangelo type player. I'm not saying he's going to be like him, but I think he could be the same kind of type player for us. Very simple, but able to have a two-way game amongst the defensemen. And I'm going to end it on that. So, boys, let's talk about the main guys now. Like, it goes without saying, this team is going to be led by that top line, that Suzuki, Cole, Slavkovsky line. They literally need to pick up from where they left off last year.
because they have no
And
support.
Yes, but you know what? Okay, you're right. I
Yep.
want to see them pick up from where they left off, but I also want to get a little bit of a taste and see if it would have ever worked. The Doc Anderson,
dude, he's the key. He's the key.
Doc and Anderson,
He's the hidden gem
He's the
for
one.
this.
Slavkovsky, Doc Anderson and Slavkovsky. That was a line that was very hot last year, right before Doc's injury. I want to see that again.
I don't think we will.
I think the success of the Montreal Canadiens this season is going to be highly dependent on how well Doc does.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Right.
We already know what the first line could do. Yes, if they grow on that, it's fine. But that's not going to push the needle. If you want to push the needle, you need the second line. You need Doc to be. He has to score like 20 to 30 goals. If the Habs even want to have a whiff of the playoffs,
Guys, we're adding
25 goals. That's
25
nothing.
goals from Doc.
No, it's nothing, dude. 25 goals in the NHL. It's
Come
absolutely
on,
nothing.
come on, Zook. I mean, it's a
For
lot
a-
asking for Doc.
For a third overall pick, 25 goals,
But
dude.
he's not a natural goal scorer, Zook. First and second, you have to look at his support.
Dude,
My issue is not Doc.
Yeah.
My issue is who he plays with.
right.
That's my issue.
Don't tell me he cannot score goals, dude.
He can, but his
But
main asset is passing. He's a playmaker.
I think this is the perfect time for Joey to discuss the lines here because
Yeah.
I don't want to stir the pot, Joey. But okay, look, let's remind everyone, and this is a tweet like I took from Stu Cowan about a day ago. So obviously the top line.
Oh, I think Sammy's
Sammy froze.
Oh.
I think Sammy froze.
We didn't need him anyways. I'll get the lines.
All right, Joey.
I
let's.
I know we're about to jump into the lines, but the whole season is pending on how long Marty's going to take to put freaking Lane Hudson on the first wave of the power play and get Mike Matheson the hell out of any power play responsibility. I love Mike Matheson, great human being, but
Chris, your cousin your cousin doesn't like if I talk about Marty, but we will talk about Marty. That definitely will happen.
you have no objections from him right about now, so now's the time.
Take
If
advantage,
ever there was
Joey.
a time,
Sammy's
go
not
for it.
here. Take advantage.
Let it rip, Joey.
I mean, Marty, to me, this year is going to be the year to really evaluate him. I mean, if power play doesn't improve, I'm sorry. That's something that's concerning. And penalty minutes, it's I don't care what the players are. You have to control your players. I know the hit with Line, I get that for Jack-Eye, but you have to control your players and stay out of the box. Those are the two things they haven't been improved since Marty has gone here. And I'm sorry, if there's one thing a coach needs to do, those are two facets of the game, and that needs to be improved. It's not to hate Marty. It's just it is what it is, but they need to be better structured and take less penalties. They don't have Price and Net anymore to bail them out on the penalty kill. And on power play, I know some of the players aren't the greatest, but I mean, it's the same struggle we've had now for 3 years. So what do we do?
No, and I fully agree with that. But you brought up a very good point, Joey. We got to stay out of the box this year.
Yeah.
We need to get out of the box.
But actually, it's not 1 year. It's 3 years with him, Marty, that if we've been in the box. It's not 1 year that it's an outlier.
I find last season, we were in the box a lot more.
Look at every year he's been there. I've complained about penalty minutes. It's high. It's way too high.
Yeah.
Like we're indisciplined.
And the penalty killing percentage is horrible. That's the other thing too.
You saw it in Rebuild, right? If you watch the
Exactly.
episodes of Rebuild, there was a lot of games that we were winning and we just collapsed because of these major last
Matheson.
No,
Gallagher.
I'm speaking in general, and it's some of their penalties is like an attitude thing. Like I know Sammy, especially Sammy's a bit advocate of this. I know Chris, you are about standing up for your players, but I find any little thing, like the attitude is any little thing, a player gets touched, which is fine. You want to protect them, or anything that goes slightly a bit off course. To me, Montreal the players lose their head and they take penalty after penalty after penalty. They don't stay disciplined. There are times where Jack-Eye should go and go to pot A and say, hey, you took out Line for 2 to 3 months. I understand that, but a hit that is 50-50 that the players don't like, they start losing their minds and they're taking penalty after penalty after penalty.
This is
That's up to
where
Marty to
Yeah.
that's exactly. I agree with you. I
Yeah.
think Marty needs to step up his game in regards to being more disciplined. And we said this last year in a couple of episodes where Marty has been too soft, and I think that he needs to change that up. He needs to be a bit more rough because
Yeah.
you can't look. There's a lot of games last year where we lost because of bad penalty calls. And if we are trying to make that wild card spot or that playoff spot this year, we can't have these costly penalties that's going to cost us a win.
Exactly,
You guys-
and likely power play too. It's both special teams that needs to improve. I know it's been bad before, but I'm sorry, it's still never improved under Marty. And I found our talent roster has gotten better, so there has to be something going on.
Yeah, all the young guys are that much older. At the end of the day, I think our young skilled guys are coming in with a lot more poise. I think there's going to be a more significant opportunity to play better 5-on-5, but if they do not fix their special teams, if they're not more disciplined on a regular and consistent basis, it's going to be another very frustrating year.
Of course,
And to go back to it, Joey, what you mentioned about like picking the battles and especially Arbor. Like we had a whole episode on this, and I'm the first to say I absolutely loved and for a game that there were no points at stake, there was nothing at stake whatsoever. If there's a questionable hit like that and a seriously questionable hit, I am so happy that he lost his mind and he crossed the line and he really sent a message to anybody and said, you know what, if you screw around, there's going to be a price to be paid. And I love the analogy. He's a mad dog. You don't know what he's going to do. He might really go a little bit too far. The Tim Stützle hit that he hit a stick and Stützle can't, that weakling couldn't hold his stick. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but Stützle got hit with his own stick. But that was such a clear message. Who was the best player for the Habs in that game? It was Kirby Dach. They went after Kirby Dach. It was a questionable hit. It was a completely useless hit. Arbor, look, you want to go after our best player? It's the first time that I can remember, Joey, that our players actually did that sort of thing. But if Arbor's going to play like that, I'm telling you, Struble, if he didn't already do it in the preseason, we didn't say it before, but if like Struble's already looking better than Arbor. And Arbor is my absolute favorite player right now on the Habs. I know how crazy that sounds, but he's my favorite individual as a human being, favorite guy. And he really has to make sure that the wires are not crossing on a regular basis.
exactly.
When it starts to count.
That's exactly what you say. The wire's not crossing. He needs to just he needs to find the right moments to pick these fights to say, hey, don't touch our players. But it can't be in critical situations, or it's not to shit on him, but it can't be Gallagher. How many times penalties the last 6 minutes, 4 minutes of a game? It can't be like that. I'm sorry. You have to control your stick, and that's Marty to control your players.
Anthony, can you just, for the sake of it, we need to give Ron some love here. Can you please put up the comment? Still don't understand how X can blow up with the captain of the German diving team on that play without going near his head. That is a top notch. That is the comment of the year to date, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best one. Tim Stützle, I think a lot of guys have a lot of hate for the guy, and that being said, so freaking well said.
I'll pick
the
up
other thing
where,
too is
go
Ron
ahead.
also said Slav shouldn't be fighting. I just want to address that very quickly too. Completely agree. When you have a first overall pick, especially the team in question, when their first overall pick, Mr. Smiling Mustache Man has glue seemingly inside of his gloves and never drops them. It goes to show what kind of courage and what kind of character that we have on the team when a first overall pick, even if you're going to say Slav is not Matthews, go fuck yourself. I understand Slav is not Matthews, but it just Slav had no business fighting. And he still did.
I want to say something. I want to say something to that point. But Sammy, welcome back. And
Don't ask me what happened.
I'm saying the lines when we get to it. So
lots of swearing.
Sammy lost it.
Actually, believe it or not, I was pretty calm. Lots of sweating, but I was actually calm. I didn't swear that much. The walls behind me and around me, windows are all intact. I'm sorry. major technical difficulties. Joey, take this as a sign. Everybody take this as a sign. If I'm messing up the start of this, that means the Canadiens are going to start off on a strong note. Mark my words.
Amazing.
Okay?
But
Seriously, what did I miss? What are you guys talking about?
we were talking about
Well,
being more disciplined because last year there was a lot of penalties that costed us games, and we were winning 3-0. Look against Islanders.
At the end of the game, how many games within the last 3 to 4 minutes, or 3 minutes less in the third period?
That's what I just said about, especially about Gallagher.
But I wanted to just bring up a point
He
here.
learned his lesson. Yeah.
Chris brought up this comment here. Yeah, we don't need Slav fighting. Not that I don't fully agree with that statement. Okay, the team that I vision for this organization is like the Boston Bruins, right? We want to really kind of copy paste what the Bruins had in 2011, but better. And we need players, even your top ones.
Thank you, Ron. While Sammy's Wi-Fi was out, we were the boys were talking about Wi-Fi.
Yeah, amazing. I'm gonna put it up. But we're not asking for Slap to drop the gloves. You don't want your first rounder to drop the gloves, but you also want a guy like Slap who has size to be a bit scary for teams that come, because I don't want fighters in this team. We're not a fighting team. But if you're like the Boston Bruins, where you have that noise,
yeah, who's playing with their mic? Who's playing drums on their fucking table? Stop it!
It's
totally Zook. Actually, Anthony, I want to add something to that, because that game against Toronto, I think it was the frustration of losing Liney, and I think it was also another way for Slav to show his leadership skills.
We were saying that about his character, his leadership, and even though he didn't have to fight, like we were saying, the comparison, there's not quite a comparison between Matthews and Slav. Both are first overall picks. Slav had no business fighting that no-name loser, but he still did, and it was a message. It was a clear
I want a
message
message to be shown that our players, our top players like Slav, are not going to fight.
Who sent the message? These. Yeah, sorry, Anthony. I'll ask you this, Anthony. Who sent the message during training camp that we're not going to be fucking pushed around anymore?
Okay.
Who else? There was more than him, though.
There was Jack Guy. There was
the whole freaking team. Really, the only guy who didn't send that message clear enough was Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson was late in reacting a lot of times, but other than that, the team was pretty damn insistent on fighting back.
I mean, Jack Guy, and it's obvious. That's what I think. Not his only role is going to be, but he's going to have that primary focus on him. I love the reaction from Slav dropping the gloves, even though I don't want him to fight that much. And I love Doc was like, yo, fuck, enough is enough. Enough is enough. So I love the message. I love the message after. It's like, yo, we're not getting fucking pushed around anymore.
And that's what the team I want. Even our star players, we're not going to fight, but guess what? There's a chance that we could fight. And that's all you want for this team. And that's what I'm hoping for. A player like Slav, who's you're supposed to be your superstar player, who's going to score a lot of goals, not considered a fighter, but hey, when it's time, you're going to push me around, I'm going to drop my gloves. And that's all I want.
Yeah, totally. I love how Jack Guy is living rent-free in the hearts and minds of Ottawa Senators fans. And I don't care if they beat us in preseason or we haven't beat them. It's been a year now. I don't give a shit. Brand new year, and I can't, like, I know we're gonna beat them this year, and I can't wait for that to happen. So we can throw it right back in Senators' faces.
Joey,
yes,
get to those lines. Let's do it.
Yeah, Sam, we waited for you to come back about it. So
thanks for that. I mean, I don't want to jinx myself, because I have a feeling if I read the lines again, maybe my internet's gonna.
I'll read it. I got it. So we have Safkoski, Suzuki, Caulfield, line 1.
Yeah.
Newhook, Doc, Armia, line 2. Barre, Boulet, Dvorak, Anderson, line 3. Heineman, Evans, Gallagher, line 4. Defensive pairing, you have Matheson, Gooley, then Hudson, Savard, then Jack-Eye, Barron.
So
do you want me to say the power plays right away, or do you want to do 5-on-5s?
Let's just talk about 5-on-5, and that puts Kapanen and Pizzetta amongst the forwards,
right?
Extra forwards.
So my first comment is towards Zook. What do you want Doc to do with his line mates? You tell me a guy that has struggles to score, and a guy that's kind of halfway out of the Habs, in my opinion, very shortly. That's the problem with Doc. It's not him; it's who's around him.
And I don't even think that line is going to stay the same. I think Josh Anderson is going to come up there, and he's going to have a. I have a feeling he's going to have a strong.
Sorry,
goal.
yeah, Newhook's been okay. I meant struggling was Anderson, but
I
I
like
don't
what
think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but
No, but
But that's it. That's it. Doc, to me, he doesn't have somebody that's going to support him. To me, that can show consistent support offensively.
Well, you're counting out his goals on the power play or to be.
Right. We're speaking strictly 5.
We didn't see that yet, eh? That
But power
there
play
could be
would
10
struggle.
goals. 15 Yeah, so what? Like Marty said, he was glad that the team didn't show their hand yet.
Yeah,
for the
that was
power play.
funny. That was so
I'll give him
funny.
props. Yeah, I'll give him props.
Wait.
I
You never know,
I
man.
don't know how Armia got himself on the second line, to be honest. And I'm not hating on Armia. I
don't see it staying.
They wanted to replace the Finnish person with a Finnish person. Like the country.
a big
Okay,
time. Yeah, but like I
Devil's
don't.
advocate though.
No, but
Devil's advocate for you guys. Do you think Armia may have been put on that line? He had a even or say a lot of people have said, and even in our respective comments, he did have a strong end to the season. But what if this is a way again to kind of showcase Armia to other teams early on in the season? Hopefully, he has a good start, and maybe
But Chris, this is
again when Liney comes back in 2 months, and Armia, let's say, had a strong start, it might initiate an early trade in the season.
But Chris, this isn't what your captain wants. Why are we already going into the season to showcase somebody? We haven't played yet.
Okay, let's be honest here,
yet.
Joey. Are we not going to be trading these players? Do you not want future picks? Do you not want assets at the deadline? If Armia is going to walk, I want assets.
Like
He's going to get to a
already.
position where he's going to bring back more.
But Chris, we're sounding like sellers already. We haven't even started the season. We're sounding like a seller. That's
And even if
exactly
we are,
It's not even a question of being a seller, Joey. It's a question of Armia has no part on this team in the future. The second that Liney comes back, Armia, where do we even place him?
Third line.
That's the thing. You have to be prepared to move
ABB
players.
is gone, and Hein. If you are close to making playoffs, they would not trade Armia. They're not going to bank their chances on ABB.
We're not going to get much for Armia to begin with.
Exactly.
I don't think so. I think you want to be honest. My personal opinion, you're going to get a minor league player. This is what I think they're going to get for Armia, a minor league player that could help Laval make the playoffs. That's what I think.
But if Montreal are in some sort of playoff range or playoff contention, they're not going to even trade Armia. They're going to keep him for veteran presence.
My thing about Armia is that he's given a top 6 role against other teams' top 6 forwards that I don't think he could
handle.
I don't think he could handle throughout 82 games. Listen, at the end of the day, I think we could all agree that these lines are not going to be the lines that stick from start to finish of the season.
But we can only talk about what's there now.
But this is what it is now. And like, look, we're playing the Leafs, then we're playing the Bruins, back-to-back games. It's early on to tell. I'm just kind of foreseeing him having a bit of a struggle to play a top 6 role that's going to ask you to play more than 15 minutes, maybe between 15 to 18 minutes a game against their other top 6, especially the Leafs and the Bruins. I just don't.
Sam,
I'm not sure about that.
I feel internal pain seeing Armia there, and I feel internal pain seeing that third line. I feel literally internal pain.
Yeah, but that third line, I mean, besides Batted, ABB, like Dvorak, Anderson, you knew they were going to play together. And Evans and Gallagher, they actually play well together, despite that fourth line being worth almost $80 million. But I
didn't even mention the fourth line. I'm talking literally the third, because
I knew Dvorak and Anderson were going to play together, and that line, I really thought it was going to be a Dvorak, Anderson, Roy line. Listen, Armia's there because Liney's hurt. That's the only reason why he's there.
Could we agree that Anderson should have been the automatic pick as compared to Armia? And that's why I'm saying
1,000%
logical.
So I want to go back.
I thought Anderson was going to be on a second line. Like if Marty keeps talking about how like he wants to help him get back to his game, putting him on the third line is not going to help. And listen, I'm looking at both power play units. He's not even on the second.
What were you saying, Anthony?
I want to go back to one comment. First off, thank you all to the fans who are live on YouTube with us with all these comments. I love this interaction. I love everything you guys are saying.
Fantastic. Love
amazing. So keep writing, keep giving your comments. We're gonna share as much as we can. I want to go back to Rafik's comment, and I've been saying this for the last 3 seasons, and I'm getting tired, but I still have hope. And I'm very optimistic, as you guys all know. I'm very optimistic with players that I have an emotional attachment with, and Anderson is one of them. And every year I keep saying, "This is his year. This is his year. This is his year." I think this is the last time I'm going to say it. Okay? Keep this recording. It's the last time. I think Rafik is correct in his comment right here. Anderson needs a big season. I think this is a hit or miss season for him. If he doesn't give us the game that we know he can give us, I think he's done after this. But this is the year I think he needs to really go full force. And I think he still has it in him. I think he still has it in him.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I just don't know what he's missing.
I would maybe a change of scenery, Anthony. I was you last year, so my year with him is already kind of over. I was you last year, but they can't get rid of him, so I don't know. I think that third line is going to struggle, and I cannot see.
That's why I'm disappointed that Anderson is the third line. Simon said it right. If you want him to prove himself, no, the third line won't give him that opportunity. Now, again, it's only game 1. Maybe there'll be one moment where he'll be pushed up, and you'll
probably. But again, we can only speak of what we have now. Right now, playing with Dvorak and ABB, I don't know how much you're going to get out of him or that line. I'm sorry. Dvorak had one of the worst preseasons out of anybody. Yeah, he scored a couple of goals, but if you watch him play, I didn't see every game, but if you see comments, he was one of the worst players there. So if you don't have a center that can keep up, I don't think it's going to help Anderson at all.
I saw every single game, and I thought it was insulting to see how badly Devo played the whole preseason.
I think out of all the contracts that are expiring this year, we're definitely making before puck drop predictions. I think Devo is going to be the one that is going to be sold the most out of all of them. I really, really think Kent Hughes is going to push him the most out. If they see guys like Jake Evans holding the fort on the fourth line and killing, and obviously killing penalties, but if they see that Kapanen too is somehow playing a very strong two-way game, mostly defensive, but he's showing that he could carry a third line role, and you put him at center.
I would love to see that. I think Dvorak, I would like to see it now.
But the reason why I say that is, again, I don't hate Dvorak. He is a bit of a whipping boy, but I also think he's perfect for a third line role on a cup contending team. And I think if there's a cup contending team somewhere come trade deadline that is missing a third line or even a fourth line centerman, I think Dvorak could be that guy for that team.
Call them a master, maybe for pressure, but call Hughes a master wizard. I don't think he's for any cup contending team. He's playing bad with us.
Yeah, but I think him too. He needs a change of scenery.
Yeah, change of scenery is one thing, but I don't know.
I personally think I listen when it comes to Dvorak. Like, I think he gets along great with the boys. Like like him and Caulfield are close. I truly think he's a great teammate and a great guy. Sure. But I think for this team and where it's going, out of the expiring contracts like Armia and like Savard, I think Dvorak is the one that needs to be given another chance somewhere the most out of those three.
Sam, same. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you were finished. It's the same 4 contracts that stick out for this team in the rebuild. It's the same 4.
Yeah, I get it.
It's forwards I'm talking about. It's the same 4. So.
Yeah, no, I get it, but eventually, we're gonna have to move on from the 4 of them. I think maybe one could come back for a much reduced price out of respect of what he's done for this team since he's been here. But no, forward. I personally think, say what you want, you bring Brendan Gallagher back for 1-year contracts at $1 million per year. Just because of what he's done, and depends where the team is at. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care if you guys disagree.
I'm okay with Gallagher.
I disagree.
That's okay.
Right. I would buy 3 pages of the Montreal Gazette to thank him in every way, shape, and form possible. Bilingual, English, French. Give him whatever he wants. Give him a car to thank him. But Gallagher is currently impeding one of the younger players. He too, I'm sorry to say, has been one of the worst players. He doesn't look like he could even keep up with the game.
He scored
at this
16
point in
goals
time.
last year.
Once in a while, he gets off a good shot.
After a
Once in a
5-game
while,
suspension.
he plays a nice aggressive game. But Gallagher is... I love Gallagher as a human being, but he just is impeding and blocking a spot for a younger guy to come in.
I think, Sam,
and
there's
get
guys
his
that are
chance.
ready to fill it. Yeah, I think there's guys ready to fill it now. The route we're taking, you just got to do it. But you can't because of contract. But I'm saying it's not like we don't have anybody to fill a spot on the fourth line.
He's. I get it. Until that no movement clause is waived, he ain't going anywhere. So we got to wait for the contract to come to an end, and then we'll see.
We will then
Buyout.
celebrate.
And then see a buyout, sure, but I mean you probably can after the end of this year or next year, and it only costs you $2 million for like 3-4 seasons. But
And the salary
really
cap
depends.
going up as well. And we're
Yeah,
shedding
maybe.
how much in salary with Dvorak, Armia, and potentially Savard as well. Like there's going to be a lot of money to play with, and I think the it's going to be very much acceptable. Again, let's not start on a negative thing. Let's not shit on Gallagher.
We're
We
not.
love
We're
him
just
and respect
being
him for what he
truthful.
did, but I think at the end of the season, it's going to be a very logical decision to actually buy out that contract.
I don't
We're not going to shit on
I-
Gallagher, but we're just going to buy him out.
I don't think
That's not
no, I
shitting
don't.
on him.
I don't.
That's
I don't
paying
think
money-
it's not going to
that's paying money
happen.
to a guy that doesn't
It's
even
not-
I
have to
don't
do
see
anything
that
for it.
happening after everything he
not
did.
gonna
with
happen.
I don't see it
the
happening.
organization. I don't see a
Not gonna
buyout.
happen.
Me neither.
Okay.
I spoke to Chris, I don't.
Listen, I don't know where, like, before my Wi-Fi disconnection happened, I don't know if you guys were talking about playoffs or where the Canadiens are going to be ranked within the Atlantic Division, but did you guys do that?
No.
not yet.
I guess we keep prediction till now, the end. So-
Yeah. And in all honesty, like, this is the key thing for this team. It's where they finish within the Atlantic Division if they're going to make playoffs. Like,
Just,
we all know it's the
FYI.
goals and it's the power plays and all that shit, but, like, they're in the strongest division within the entire league. Like, I'm
I
trying to
think they're the strongest. Yeah.
the Atlantic. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
probably.
come on! But yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, eyes closed, the Atlantic's the
Sam, does
strongest.
the
division in
recording
hockey.
end in does the recording end in 3 minutes?
No.
The
No?
recording ends when we say it ends.
Perfect. Just want to make sure there's no timeline for the live.
No,
All right.
I don't know,
let's-
Sam, if they are, man. It's very close.
Who do you think? Who do you think? Okay, who do you think could be stronger than them? The Metropolitan.
Metropolitan's pretty close because to me, Tampa's on the downhill.
they're
like-
still making playoffs and they're still one of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, but that's like okay. I mean, Flyers had a decent year. Penguins, you never know what the stars they have. Rangers are very top.
I don't
Okay,
see
Rangers-
I don't see
Carolina, New
Pittsburgh
Jersey.
making the playoffs this year again.
Who?
I don't see Pittsburgh making playoffs again.
They didn't make it last year.
And I don't see them making it
Oh,
again.
okay. I don't know. I don't think it's
Rangers, Carolina for sure are the
Islanders?
top teams.
I wouldn't even see
They're,
Jersey going
they're,
far
they're
this
not
year.
exciting, but they do.
They're-
Every
they're
year
sh-
they're always there.
Yeah, fair, but
I would take Islanders over like literally. I would start taking Islanders over at least Toronto in our division. Like that would make playoffs. And
You
I
would
don't
take
know, man.
Islanders
Tampa's
over-
down.
you would take Islanders over Toronto. As much as I hate Toronto, like I gag.
Playoffs, yeah. They never passed first round. I would actually try that.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about making playoffs, though.
They'll both make it. To me, they're
Okay,
both gonna make
but
it.
I still think Toronto. I hate
Yeah.
myself for saying I still think Toronto's stronger than the Islanders.
I don't know.
I don't think personally.
The
I don't
only
think.
thing
I don't think
see
Toronto's not.
Islanders make. If Islanders makes it, it's because of the Petroqual effect.
Well,
That's
yeah,
it.
obviously, but like yeah, but they are a good team with
They
Barzal.
are a good
and-
team, but I don't see them. They're playoff ready yet. I think
Well,
I
no,
think
they make playoffs every year. They don't make it past the first round, though. I don't think they have
They're-
that longevity versus the Islanders. Versus Carolina or the Rangers.
Right. To summarize the long story short, I think they are the best. I just don't think they're by far the best. I don't know. I'm
Well,
talking
dude.
about for this season coming. I'm not talking about last year. I think it.
No, I'm talking about even this year too. Like I believe you,
I
Joe.
think
I actually
Tampa-
agree that slowly Tampa and Boston are slowly hitting the downfall, but they're
They're
still
getting
strong.
smacked right now. By the way,
Yeah,
My
I want
take.
to hear Zook.
By
I
Florida.
want to hear Zook. Yeah, go
My
for it,
take-
Zook, man.
This is going to be controversial. I think Boston's not making the playoffs this year.
so then who makes it? So this is the
Montreal.
Montreal or Detroit. It's going to be.
It's going to be close between Montreal and Detroit, and it's going to be
Montreal and
very
Detroit
close
are fighting
by a matter
for
of
wild card
points.
spot. I'm calling
For a
them
matter
wild
of points.
card.
But I think Boston is going to have an off year with all this distraction that has been going on since the beginning of summer, if you will.
Swayman's
Uh,
taken care of.
Yeah, well, listen,
Okay, so but Montreal, are they making the top 3 spot, Zook, or the wild
No.
card?
They're going to make
and
a wild
Detroit-
card. They're going to
No,
make a
So then
wild
who's the top 3? So
Montreal
if
and
it's not
Detroit
Boston,
are-
it's Toronto
Buffalo.
for sure, Florida.
Get out of here, Buffalo.
I'm done. No, I'm joking.
Montreal
Buffalo.
and Detroit will be fighting for the last
Or
spot.
the Devils. It's the Devils or Buffalo.
No, but
Devils
that's
are in
not.
Metropolitan. They're not in their
Oh,
same division.
You need 3 in
Okay.
the Atlantic, right? So you're
Oh,
going to
Atlantic,
say
you're talking about,
Toronto,
sorry.
you're going to say Florida for sure,
And
and
you're
then
gonna
who
say
would be
Tampa.
the third?
Tampa, guys, come on. They're
Even
still a
Tampa,
good
man, I'm
team.
not sure yet on it.
Tampa's
They're
wild
still-
card for me.
They're still a
You know
good
what?
team, guys. Come on.
I'm
They're
not
still
saying
a
they're
good
bad.
team,
They're
and they
just
still
downgrading. They're just-
Kucherov is literally the only reason why Tampa is going to be doing. Vasilevsky has
No.
not. Let's face it,
Hedman.
Vasilevsky has not been the same goaltender for now 2 seasons. Hedman is getting up there in age. Braden, it's all going to be Braden Point and Kucherov, and if they can pull that, they also lost Sergachev on defense as a third, fourth defenseman who really bolsters that blue line. That's going to be a big change for them. Tampa's on the downhill.
Me too.
Boston
they-
is on the downhill.
But they're still.
There are a
I
We
lot
have
of
agree.
17 watchers. I want to hear your opinions to all.
I
the fans
agree.
watching this.
I agree. They're on the downfall, but they're still good enough to be
Make the
third
playoffs.
in that division.
Yeah, they are good enough. They're like I'm comfortable saying that Tampa and Boston should still, in theory, or looking on paper, they should still be ahead of both Montreal and
See-
Detroit.
See,
But
Sam,
that said, I'm just saying if there's going to be a surprise, so to say, and if there's going to be something that the analysts get wrong, I think it'll be those 2 teams because Toronto and Florida Panthers have a spot guaranteed. Like especially in the regular season, those 2 teams
Yeah.
are going to kill it. But I think it's going to be toss up, and I don't even want to say their name, but even you have to throw the freaking Sens somehow into the mix with both
I
Detroit
can't.
and Montreal.
In the mix
have
with
to throw
the,
them in.
we do, but I just don't because there's so much pressure on the Senators and Buffalo to fucking do something. Finally, I just
Sam,
don't
if
think it's
you-
gonna happen for them.
Me neither. And if you take Tampa Bay and you put them in the Metropolitan, I don't think they go above Hurricanes, Devils, or Rangers.
I think they go above the Devils because the Devils are still
They had an off year.
the Devils are a much better version of the Canadians, especially with Jack Hughes. I freaking love. I love him so much as a player. But I think you throw them in the Metropolitan, they're underneath Carolina.
No, see, to me, it's Carolina, New York, New Jersey that make
But
Tampa don't.
So, in my opinion, I think Tampa and New Jersey are what Montreal and Detroit are going to be in our division. If you were to put Tampa Bay in Metropolitan, my opinion. So, I don't know. I'm like, there was a whole Ottawa Senators hype train last year, and that went to shit. And I just think we underestimate the culture that the Montreal Canadiens are building, and that in itself goes a long freaking way. And I think I'm going to sound biased, and I don't care. I think the Montreal Canadiens culture is a replica of what the Bruins have, and that's why the Bruins have been successful all these years. And I think it's better than Detroit. I think it's better than Ottawa, and I think it's better than Buffalo.
Okay, so let's predict.
I see Montreal Canadiens 4th in the division.
So that's a wild card spot.
So fuck it. Let's go with a wild card spot.
I say
is there a wild card spot or no?
So Joey, okay, and everybody that's listening and watching, if all goes well, Canadians score goals on the power play. They score goal 5-on-5. Their special teams works on both the power play and penalty kills. I'm just saying it has to. All of this has to work for the Canadians to make 4th, not 3rd, not 2nd, not 1st in the division. For all, especially where they're at now in the rebuild, if all of those go together and injuries, there has to be the least amount of injuries we've seen in 2-3 fucking years. Like if the stars are aligned and all goes well, of all those points I made, 4th.
So 4th is the wild card.
Yes,
I agree with Sam.
I'm going with that.
So they're 4th. Anthony,
I agree with Sam.
A healthy team.
Yeah.
No. You have
Fuck
to
you.
factor
He just
everything
said a
in.
bunch of fucking scenarios and then
He
stop
said
him.
fourth. He said fourth. He ended with fourth.
I'm
though.
giving you the prediction.
You're gonna give two. You're gonna say
No,
if
I'm giving
healthy
you one.
team,
I'm
fourth,
giving-
if not last. Yes, you're gonna give both. You give one.
Shit.
Joey's had enough.
Piece of shit.
No. One. I have one.
I'm
spot.
getting there. You cut
Let
me
him
off. I'm
let him
getting there.
speak.
Okay,
Let him
okay.
speak.
A healthy Habs team will be fighting. I'm saying only one scenario. That's
Yeah,
it. That's all.
Gotcha.
A healthy Habs team will be fighting for the final wild card spot, and I think they don't make it by a game or two.
Oh,
So you say
A healthy
that-
Habs team will be
Okay.
fighting like last year, Detroit and Philly when they were fucking and who
Yeah,
else
yeah.
was Detroit,
So
Philly,
you-
and who else?
you
Detroit
say
and
they end
Washington.
ninth.
Detroit
Detroit and Washington were fighting
Yeah.
for that spot, and Washington made it, not Detroit. That's
Yeah.
exactly what's going to happen to Montreal, and we're
So
not
you
making
say they're
Okay.
not. You say they're gonna be ninth. Essentially,
Correct.
it's ninth. Okay.
And then a non-healthy Habs, we're going to be tanking, and we're going to get a first overall next year.
See, he's
That's
gonna
my
say
scenario.
so ninth it is. Okay. Zook's got fourth in the division, so wild
Yep.
card is gonna be
Yep.
seventh or eighth. Same
Yeah.
with Sammy.
Yeah.
Chris
I want to agree so badly with Zook and Sammy, but
from the heart.
I'm not
Chris.
ready. I'm not ready to have that level of hope. I'm not.
Don't do it.
The pain is
What are you,
going to be
Ronan
too
from
much
What are you,
to
Ronan
face.
from the MCU?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like don't give me
do
that
that.
hope.
Don't give me hope.
I really think like I want to believe that they're going to be battling for a wild card spot, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be like 9th, 10th, or 11th, just because I think there are going to be a few other teams that are just going to push ahead at the right time, and
Just
that's
read this,
gonna
boys.
suck.
Yeah.
2 months without line A,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna miss like 2 to 3 to 4 wins because we don't score on the power play, or because it just doesn't go as well, and other teams are gonna take advantage of early. And for that damn reason, I think we're gonna be just short.
The fans, they know what they want. They know what they want. They know.
My God, Joey, you made the fans turn on Marty.
I'm not
Like
turning. No.
this.
I said about it before you're there. By the way, I
Yeah.
will give my prediction
Yeah.
with whole Liney's injury. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna go 10th to 11th. So I'll even say it's gonna be an improvement. So 10th, 11th. So they're gonna miss it by 2-3 spots. Will they be close to playoffs? Not as much as Anthony, but they won't be last. And I hope they're not last in the Atlantic for once. Peterson, I can do that at any point. It's not an issue for me. I can melt down at any point for it.
Yeah, but Joey, you're gonna need more of a
I'm what
bench.
I'm what the fans want, essentially. So they want me
As long as you don't pull a Reinbacher choice pick and just walk back into the dressing room and just, I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here.
Yeah, you can't walk out of your own own management.
that I won't do. But so far, the walking out has been has been right. Has proven me right. So
No, it's not. Hold on a sec. Come on, give the fucking.
we're not talking
fans.
about it. I'm joking with you.
All
It's
right, all
unlucky
right,
his
fine,
injury. But
fine.
anyways, 10th,
Okay, let's
11th.
predict. Oh wait, do we all predict standings? Let's predict goals.
You said not okay. Well, Caulfield ends more than Line, That's a
How
given.
many 30-goal scorers this season? We always had this question.
I still say two. I
Two.
still say Suzuki and Caulfield.
I'm between 1 and 2.
You know what? I have a feeling though. No, hold on a sec. I think Caulfield will reach the 30-goal mark for the first time in his career. Finally, I think Suzuki just might fall.
Oh my God, I was just about to say this. Joey is the love child of John Tortorella and Patrick Roy. I was about.
I am Italian.
Hold on a sec.
And-
Can we?
amazing.
But hold on. Could we add in George Costanza in there too, please? Please, I love it. Tortorella, Patrick Watt with a bit of George Costanza.
Rafik, I was just about to say that, and you beat me to it. Well done,
That's
Rafik.
hilarious.
Rafik, you deserve to come on the show one time with us.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what?
I think we're gonna have two. Caulfield, one of them, and if Liney comes back quicker than expected, ish, it's gonna be between him and Suzuki.
I'm going with
One
one.
other guy.
I'm going with one, but Slav over 20 goals. I don't think he'll hit 30 though.
No, Slav won't hit 30. I don't.
I'm going
see
with
that
one.
happening. Slav over 20 for sure.
20, yeah.
Chris Anderson, how many goals? Not 30 this time, right? How many goals?
11, 12.
Okay.
Hey,
Who
by
has
the
the
way,
lowest?
Joey, if I don't know how good your math is, but Anderson 2 seasons in a row was on pace for 30 goals. So it
On
was
pace and
unfortunate
hitting
that he really
30?
failed, but it was unfortunate that he really failed and went downhill. But Anderson was on a really good tear. As far as it goes, I think we're going to have one 30-goal scorer with possibly 3 25 plus goal
Oh,
scorers.
Ron.
Let's hope that happens, Ron. Let's hope that happens, man.
Chris, my theory with this is people call Pacioretty a 40-goal scorer. I know the whole. I'm not talking about this whole Leaf thing with him. Whatever. He is not a 40-goal scorer. He hit 39. Same thing with Anderson. He didn't hit 30 goals. Doesn't matter if he was on pace for 1,000. He never hit it. He didn't hit 30.
It was only because it was the half season. Like he played half seasons, and
Okay, so
it's
you guys
just
all
it's like
fighting
looking
for
at
one,
Slavkovsky.
two?
If we're ready to say that Slavkovsky is going to have a 50-point season, it's because what he did in the second half of the second season,
Okay, but
second half of the last season. So if
he
we're
hits
ready to say,
49 points,
okay,
do you consider him a 50-point player?
Slavkovsky,
If he hits 49 points, do you call him next year a 50-point player?
he should absolutely be a minimum 50-point player, and I do think he is a 50-point
Yeah, you
player.
can
But I'm
predict
just
it. But
saying, if
until
we're
he
going to
hits
use
it,
a predictive model, I used a predictive model for what Anderson was tracking for 2 seasons in a row to be comfortable enough to say he's going to hit 30. And he got injured that season.
I love this comment. In NHL 24, Slav scored 95 goals. What are you playing on rookie mode?
hang on,
That's
easy.
awesome.
Well, the simulation
Big-
is fucked.
Big
The
pizza
simulation
pie.
Playing
is
the
garbage.
Anthony Gervais mode.
That's
Everybody wins.
the one player I'll end off with that from Chris's comment and of ripping on each other is I want to see Slav hit like how many goals did he end up hitting last year? Exactly
20 on the
20,
last
right?
game.
I want to see at 25, 26. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm predicting a good between 22 and 25 goals.
If there is a 30-goal scorer, a surprise, it will be him.
A surprise? Yeah, I would love to see that.
Not
Oh
Kirby
my
Duck?
god.
No,
I'm
not
You know what?
No.
You
You
I'm
wouldn't
going
consider
against
Kirby
Paul.
Doc a potential surprise 30-goal scorer?
20
Is
goals.
what I'm saying?
Doc.
No,
20
Doc,
goals, Doc.
has never been projected to be a 30-goal scorer.
I say
I'm
20.
not saying
would
he's
be a surprise.
projected. I'm just saying, could he be a
3 are hitting
surprise?
30.
If-
I'm not saying names. 3 are hitting 30.
3.
I'm going against everybody.
So
That's
not
everything.
making playoffs and 3 are hitting 30. Okay, Anthony.
Wait a second. It's very easy. Nick Suzuki, Caulfield, and somebody else.
Yes, but there's someone else.
Well, who's the third?
Sorry.
You don't know, or you don't know. You don't know.
No,
He could say it's Doc. He could say it's
You know why? he's
Brendan
thinking it?
Gallagher.
Because at the end of the season, he's gonna say, "Well, I thought of
Lane
him,
Hudson.
I'm saying it's Slav.
but-" Okay, all 3 hit 30,
The first line
and they
hit
don't
30,
make playoffs.
and we don't make playoffs.
My
That's-
God,
that's-
that means Caden Primo ain't gonna be doing well in that.
Does,
Right.
does Lane
That's-
Hudson a candidate for the Calder Trophy?
Yes. Top three.
Yes.
It depends. I haven't checked who's been.
Top three.
Well,
Who's gonna be the rookie? He's
well,
gonna
he's
be
gonna
there for
he's gonna
sure.
be up against Macklin Celebrini for sure. He's gonna be up against Will Smith, both of them with the San Jose Sharks. I honestly think he could be competing against Cutter Gauthier from Anaheim.
Okay,
Don't-
35
And also that-
points? 35
and-
points.
I'm thinking 40 points. I'm
40,
thinking
okay,
40
fair.
between 40 to, I'm not saying he's going to reach 50 points, Lane Hudson, but again, if our
if
play
he
works
does.
out well, if he does, I think he could win it for
That's the
defenseman.
key is the power play. But right now, and Chris, I'm going to share your frustration again. He's on the second line.
It's
There's a
going to
power
take
play.
like 4 games for him to fucking
Well,
be
four
on the
four
first
games,
wave
it
of the
should be
power
none,
play.
right?
So
No, it should be none. But fuck, that's the only thing that I don't understand, Marty. Like, again, Heineman. We started the episode by saying Heineman earned a spot and he got it. Mike Matheson, again, probably the first guy that I put on the ice in 3-on-3 overtime just because of his skating ability. But holy shit, he cannot make that backhand pass on the back end on a power play. He
Nope.
should not be there. I'd even put, this is going to sound ridiculous because I'm not his biggest fan. I don't dislike him either, but I'd put Justin Barron at times ahead of Mike Matheson.
very
on the power play.
I'm very surprised he's not getting any power play.
Yeah, that's his more of his,
Opportunity.
that's more
like-
of a specialty for it.
So, anyways,
Do we predict who if they win the opener tomorrow?
well, I'm going with
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm going with yes.
I'm there, so I hope they win.
Lost in
And-
overtime.
Anthony and
you
I are
guys
going to
will
be
vote
there.
Ooh.
Lost in
Well,
overtime.
we
You guys
might
are both there.
we Anthony and I are definitely gonna vlog the experience, so that's gonna be something to look forward
Okay.
to on
Last year I
YouTube.
predicted they lose. This year I'll predict they win. I'll go with
We're gonna end the episode off, but I think the key thing to really not pay attention to, but like we really could start judging where this team might go after 10 or 15 games into the season. That's where more or less, or in a general statement, you get a feel for what the team might be going throughout the season. Things could change, and we've seen it throughout the years. Like I always go back to the way the LA Kings made the playoffs and won the cup, the way Pittsburgh Penguins made the playoffs by the skin of their teeth, won the cup. I'm not saying it's going to happen to the Canadiens, but you still, or even, oh my God, the St. Louis Blues are the perfect example. But those teams were the rare exceptions. But on the overall, I love it.
By
But
Christmas
overall,
time, Sammy.
I
But on
pray.
the overall 10 games, no, not by Christmas,
No.
no, 10, 15 games. By the end of October, we're really going to see.
I still don't think it's really.
Sam, there's an outlier though. Is Line A? We don't know because if he comes back in December, that's the one question mark.
That's a very good point too. Like we
Yeah.
really,
And I'll say my point on that. And I said it last time. If Montreal by come December are in good standings, and then you add in Liney to the lineup, then forget my prediction of that wild card. I think we're going to be in a good.
there's hope. There's hope.
There's a hope of having a good, nice pace to the playoff mode.
But you got to remember too, Liney
around
coming.
there, yeah.
Yeah, but Liney coming in, he's going to be coming from off of rehab, so he's not going to be the Liney of old for his first 4 or 5 games. So,
But
I don't
luckily,
know.
there's no.
And we don't know even if the rehab's going to go well too. That's another factor.
I'm
so-
optimistic. No, I'm
We're
optimistic.
optimistic.
Me
There is
too,
a bit
but-
of a difference with rehabbing to. I mean, we're no medical experts, but rehabbing from just an injury to a surgery,
surgery. Yeah,
it's going to take a lot sooner. But let's hope. If Anthony said, if we're around the playoff by Christmas,
that's an
it's
addition.
fine. Yeah,
That's an addition for sure. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I think the most exciting thing about the Curfew Boys podcast is going back to our roots, our niche, how this all started, and it was doing post-game episodes, and hence the name Curfew Boys.
Man,
Doing games doing post-game episodes during curfew hours was probably the only thing we looked forward to during that time. But going back to that mode, to the way we got this whole thing started 5 years, almost, my God, 4 or 5 years ago.
minus the COVID though, right?
Minus COVID, but like, and now that we've mentioned it in our Instagram posts and our Instagram stories, like we're gonna be asking you guys, the audience, the followers, the fans, to send in your videos of your honest thoughts and feelings after the games. Send them to us, and if we keep them somewhat civil, we're allowed emotions. No hate speech, please. None of that. But like you guys might see your faces on the Curfew Boys episode live on YouTube. So to that, I say to the followers that have been here since day one, and even to our newcomers, like thank you so much for 5 seasons. And yeah, we could definitely swear in Québécois, tabarnak. Like, même à nos amateurs francophones, like, send in your questions. Envoyez-nous vos pensées, your feel. I don't know how to say feelings in French, but
Sentiment, tabarnak.
Envoyez-nous vos vidéos de vos pensées de l'équipe. Puis, tu sais, envoyez-nous les tabarnak, les hosties de calices. Puis, we want to get this conversation going in both French and English. And like,
Anthony's going to speak in French.
Anthony's going to take it away. Yeah. Like all that to
C'est
say.
pas légal.
You know what? This is a great way to start season 5, and a great way to start the brand new season, the 2024-25 NHL season of the Montreal Canadiens. And this is we have a blast doing this, and for the love of this team.
Anthony should host our French podcast, I think.
Anthony's going to host les garçons du couvre-feu.
Yeah,
nice.
All right,
no, but honestly, can we make that promise to the fans that we have at least 1 or 2 French episodes? I'm
ready to speak French. If we have a French guest that wants to come on, absolutely. We do both language. This is Montreal. We speak both English and French.
Bienvenue dans ce nouvel épisode.
Oh, tabarnak. That's the end of that.
Montrer comment faire un épisode en français, tabarnak.
All right.
Well, bienvenue dans ce nouvel épisode des Curfew Boys.
I'm going to have to download that teleprompter app.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for doing this. To all our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in this brand new episode, season 5. And once again, click like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is absolutely free. Tell your friends about us. Share this with your fellow Habs fans, friends, or family members. I guarantee you, we'll all have a good time, no matter what the results are. You know, if things don't go so well, there might be a little bit more emotion behind it. You get 5-6 Italians together in a room. There's gonna be lots of hands waving and swearing, but that's all part of the fun.
Thank
Please
you to all the
follow us.
fans that entered this episode. All those 17,
Thanks for all your comments and interactions. Absolutely,
Thank you, guys.
love it. Absolutely blast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or X, Facebook, TikTok. Gentlemen, enjoy your evening. I'm off to hockey. I don't know if I'm gonna be late, but it's not that far. I'm 20 minutes away. Thank you so much for doing this. Go Habs, go. I love you guys. Anthony, I'll see you at the game tomorrow. Everybody, enjoy the game. Season opener at the Bell Center versus the hated Toronto Maple Leafs. Go Habs, go. We'll see you maybe post-game episodes against the Bruins, unless anybody else willing to take over. We'll let you all know. Until then,
bye now.
bye now.
Bye now.
Good
Good night.
night.
Healthy season.
Honesty.